Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultan of Oman television. First, the headlines. U.S. Secretary of State says he'd go to Iran if needed as he asks U.S. allies to join a maritime force. And the EU tells new UK Prime Minister it's not budging on the Brexit withdrawal deal. Those are the headlines, and now for the news in detail. The U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said he was willing to go to Iran for talks aimed tensions between Tehran and Washington, but also called on Japan, Britain and other nations to join a maritime force to guard oil tankers sailing through the Strait of Hormuz. Tensions between Iran and the United States have ratcheted up since last year when President Donald Trump withdrew the United States from the Iranian nuclear deal, formerly called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, saying it was not strong enough. Washington also reimposed sanctions on Tehran. Trump and Iranian leaders have both publicly said talks were possible, but the prospect for dialogue appeared to recede on Wednesday when the top military advisors to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, said Tehran would not negotiate with Washington under any circumstances.
Hundreds of thousands of jobs. The United States is proud to be a partner of choice.
The European Commission reiterated today that the Brexit withdrawal agreement will not be reopened. It said ongoing Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker told Britain's new Prime Minister Boris Johnson that the existing deal is the best and only agreement possible. Juncker and Johnson spoke by phone late yesterday after Johnson took over from Theresa May as Britain's leader. Johnson has insisted that the current agreement to leave the EU and arrangements regarding the Irish border were not good enough and had to be renegotiated. Juncker has said he remains at the disposal of the United Kingdom to add language to a political text on the future of relations and to analyse any ideas put forward by the United Kingdom, providing they are compatible with the withdrawal agreement. Juncker expressed willingness to meet Johnson over the coming weeks should the United Kingdom wish to hold talks to clarify its position in more detail. Three devastating explosions left at least 12 dead and 45 injured in Afghanistan's capital of Kabul yesterday, with extensive damage to local business as well. The Taliban claimed responsibility for only one of the blasts, saying the militant group targeted the US-led foreign force stationed in Afghanistan. The UN assistance mission in Afghanistan documented more than 3,800 civilian deaths in the country last year, including about 930 children. Nearly 1,100,000 of total were either injured or killed throughout the year. UN Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet said in a statement today that the airstrikes have killed at least 103 civilians in the past 10 days. Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights spokesman Rupert Colville told a news briefing in Geneva that the rising toll had been met with apparent international indifference. Idlib and surrounding areas of the northwest were included in the de-escalation deal last year between Syria's main ally Russia and Turkey, which backs some rebel groups to reduce warfare and bombardment. Over the past 3 months, the fighting has driven hundreds of thousands of people from their homes or temporary shelter to seek refuge near the border with Turkey. North Korea's test of a new missile is meant as a solemn warning over rival South Korea's weapon development and plans to hold military drills with the United States. Pyongyang said Friday as it continued its pressure campaign ahead of potential nuclear talks. South Korea's military later said that the flight data of the weapon launched Thursday showed similarities to the Russian-made Iskander, a short-range nuclear-capable missile. A North Korean version could likely reach all of South Korea and the 500 U.S. forces stationed there and would be extremely hard to intercept. Annual military drills by Washington and Seoul have long been a source of frustration for North Korea. Last week it said it may lift its 20-month suspension of nuclear and long-range missile tests in response. Seoul said Wednesday that North Korea was protesting the drills by refusing to accept its offer to send 50,000 tons of rice through an international agency. The sweltering heat wave is still raging in France, with the highest temperature soaring to 42.6 degrees Celsius in Paris, the highest since records began in 1873. This is the second heat wave in France since the beginning of the summer. The French National Weather Service has issued orange alerts for high temperatures in 80 provinces across the country. By Wednesday afternoon, red alerts had been issued in 20 provinces in northern France, including all of the provinces in the Isle of France, where Paris is located. The record high temperature forced people to stay away from scenic spots, including the Seine River. Instead, people gathered around cooling sprays and street water tap facilities to keep hydrated. Meanwhile, Belgium suffered a first death as a direct result of the record-breaking heatwave when a woman was found dead near her caravan close to the beach. The 66-year-old woman was found by a neighbour late Thursday afternoon after she had apparently been basking in the blazing sun. The incident happened on the Belgian coast as temperatures rose in the region to over 40 degrees Celsius. On Thursday, Belgium endured, like many parts of Western Europe, its hottest day on record when the temperature rose to 41.8 degrees Celsius in a town 30 kilometers east of Brussels. Still to come in our news bulletin. Public Authorities for Craft Industries organizes exhibition to market craft products. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The second phase of Inshaad competition started in the governorates of North Batna and Bahraini. The participants are competing this year in 4 categories in addition to the introduction of a new category for young females. In its first phase, the competition witnessed wide participation. The event is a great opportunity for talented students to show their skills in the field of Inshaad. A specialized group was selected for arbitration of the contest and choose the best of the participants. Buka Sports Club concluded the activities of the 3rd summer program. It came to utilize the free time of the students in the Walaya of Buka and the activities that will develop their skills and capabilities. It also sought to discover talented students in various fields. 60 participants took part in the event, which included many sports and cultural activities. The cultural tourism is based on cultural uniqueness compared to other touristic elements. Heritage motels is an element of cultural tourism. The Sultanate has unmatched culture, and it invested many cultural and heritage elements to create culture tourism. A number of old houses and villages were transferred to heritage motels in which visitors can reside and have an exceptional experience to know all about Omani life, details and traditions. They also have the chance to get acquainted with the elements of the Omani architecture. These heritage motels are being run by Omani youth who enrich this type of tourism. The Public Authority for Craft Industries held a craft market exhibition in Muscat Mall to promote the craft sector and support craftsmen to establish handicraft projects. Our reporter Sal bin Khalfan Al-Rabi has more details in the following report.
Within its ongoing efforts to provide marketing outlets for developed crafts and to support craftsmen, the Public Authority for Craft Industries organized Crafts Market Exhibition, which continues for 3 days with the participation of a number of craftsmen in various fields, including textiles, pottery, silver, wood, perfumes, and incense.
We are so happy to be visiting us in the commemorations, and we want to show our project to others when we are show the Omani project when the average and the quality is good.
The exhibition was an opportunity for the visitors to get a closer insight into the craft industry's products and the developed crafts made by Omani craftsmen.
It's very important for us first of all, to improve ourselves in our culture, in all our tradition things. Then it's very important to go outside the country. It's very important all other countries knows about our Omani main culture.
The Public Authority for Craft Industries pays a special attention to the handicraft industries and the Omani crafts, providing care and support to the handicraft industries and keeping pace with the development and progress of crafts. Such exhibitions provide the craftsmen an opportunity to promote the Omani handicrafts locally and internationally. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Saleh Bakhalfan al-Rahbi, Muscat.
Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over most of the governorates with chances of low cloud and fog late at night and early morning over the coast of the Arabian Sea. Clear to partly cloudy skies with chances of intermittent drizzle are expected over the governorates of Dhofar. Winds will be southeasterly light to moderate and seas will be moderate with a maximum wave height of 2 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. U.S. Secretary of State says he'd go to Iran if needed as he asks U.S. allies to join a maritime force. And the EU tells the new UK Prime Minister it's not budging on the Brexit withdrawal deal. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studio, it's good night.